All right, good morning, fellas. Today I want to discuss a little bit about grating removal. Now that we got all these structures, we got the 604, we got the 603, we got numerous structures out here on towers, platforms and whatnot. Now that we're letting everybody get up on the structures and work, almost all structures are open. There's only a few more that are incomplete. There's a specific process that we have to go through in order to remove the grating, whether we're going to put instrument lines through there, or we're going to put pipe through there, or we got to install some steel, whatever it may be. Maybe there's a revision. Whatever it may be, we have to get a permit for that. Obviously, we don't want to have open holes up here. We don't want to have someone just pulling grating and we end up with a fall hazard that isn't protected. We cannot have that on the project. That's why we have a grating removal permit. Now, something else about grating removal is that is considered one of our cardinal rules. It is an absolute necessity and essential that we follow the procedure and we do it correctly. Now, this permit, you can get it from your supervisor. Typically, supervisors will have a bunch of copies of it because they know they're going to end up having to pull grating at some point. You can get a copy of it from the safety department. We're going to have a print shack that we're putting in between 604 and 603. We'll keep a lot of permit stuff in there, signs and whatnot. Okay, now there's a specific process we go through whenever we're doing grating removal. The first thing is the supervisor that is requesting that the grating be removed is going to get the permit. It's going to be blank. He fills out why he needs this grating removed, what he's doing, and he starts going down the checklist to make sure everything's in place. The first thing he's going to do is contact the scaffold department. The scaffold foreman's going to come over. He's going to show him what grating needs to be removed. The scaffold builders are going to build a hard barricade around it. They're also going to put toe boards like you see here. Now, once the requesting craft supervisor signs off on it, and then the scaffold builders sign off on it, and we have our hard barricade in place, we got our toe boards in place, we got everything removed from the inside of the toe boards, then you contact the safety department. We're going to come up here and we're going to make sure everything is correct. We make sure the handrails are in place, we make sure there's signs on there, we make sure the toe boards are there, we make sure that everything is removed that could be a falling object. Okay? And then we're going to sign off on it. Then once we sign off on it, then you're going to call the iron foreman, get the iron foreman up there. Iron foreman's going to verify that yes, all the signatures are in place. Craft supervisor, scaffold builders and safety department. Then he's going to sign off on it after he pulls the grating. Grating's going to be pulled. The grating is going to be secured somewhere so that it can't become a falling object. Now, that's the process to initiate it. Now, whenever you're done with your work, you're going to contact the iron department. The iron department is going to come over and they're going to reinstall the grating, make sure it's secured. Then once the grating gets secured, you're going to call the safety department. We're going to come up there. We're going to review it. We're going to make sure that everything is secured and that we can take down these handrails and the toe boards and everything we put in place to prevent someone from falling. And then once we sign off on it, and only after we sign off on it, can the scaffold department come up and they can remove the handrails and the toe boards. That's the proper process for grating handrail removal. Now, as I said earlier, it's essential that we do this correctly. We cannot have an open hole. We cannot afford to have falling objects going through the open hole that we created. That's why we got to remove everything. As you can see with this grating removal right here, there are a couple of items that have been left inside the barricade. We have some lashing wire, and we also have a 2x4, and we also have some clamps over there that are used for the lashing wire. There's also extension cords, face shields, and if you look at the grating was just pulled up and kind of moved to the side. It wasn't secured in any way. So obviously there's several issues with this grating removal area over here. Okay, something else about grading removal. Inside this hard barricade where we have an open hole, it's 100% tie-off. We can't have anybody falling through this hole. We got to have signs on there. Grating removal, open hole, 100% tie-off beyond this point. These are standards that we got to follow. We cannot have anybody falling through that hole. So maintain 100% tie-off inside here. If we come over here, here's the grating removal permit that was done for this job. It's got to be posted at site. Okay, someone comes up here, they go inside this gate, it's 100% tie-off. We also have, if we look at this permit, done a few days ago, this is the daily inspection for this permit. That's supposed to be done daily by the requesting craft supervisor to make sure nothing has changed, to make sure there's nothing inside this barricade. It's not filled out. It's been a few days. These things need to be done. This is what we have in place as a company and as a project to keep things from happening. We got to make sure it's done right, fellas, so please help me out with that. Okay, guys, I want to say it a third time. It is absolutely essential that we follow this procedure to a T on this project. We cannot afford open holes. We cannot afford falling objects. If you're working inside one of these hard barricades, we also need to look at who's down below us. Do we need to barricade the area off? What kind of conditions are we dealing with? We also need to be looking at tool tethers. We need to make sure that anything we're using can't fall through the hole. So please work with me on this. We'll get you your permits in a timely manner, but it's got to be done properly. We have to prevent falling objects, open holes. And as always, I appreciate your attention. Have a safe day. Make sure that we plan our work. We use the STA like it's supposed to be used. Make sure you get with your foreman before we start work. Maybe he has some inputs, but definitely plan your work. Make sure we do it right. Make sure we prevent things from happening, because there's no sense in somebody getting hurt out here when it's something that is obviously preventable. So thank you again for your attention, and everybody have a safe day.